Cypress test automation. If today is your first time on this channel, or this is the first you've been coming to this channel but you've not subscribed, kindly click on the subscribe button and also the notification bell so you can keep getting updates each time I drop a video like this. So today I'm going to be looking at the Cypress test automation CSS selector in Cypress, that is Cypress locators. In Cypress, we have a number of ways through which you can locate web elements when you are automating your application. The first one is the class attribute. The second one is the ID attribute. The third one is the attribute value. Then the fourth one is the combination of class and attributes. Now, when you are making use of a class, it has the dot class. You make use of dot, then the class name, the class value. When you are making use of ID, you make use of arch symbol, then the ID value. When you are making use of the attribute value, make use of the attribute, then the value. When you are making use of combination of class and attribute value, then you make use of dot, class name, then the attribute and the value in a square bracket. This is how to make use of CSS selector in Cypress. Now let's go a little bit further. First, create a folder inside the E2E folder, end-to-end folder. So inside this end-to-end folder, I'll create a new file. So inside this new file, I'll call it CSS. Let me call it Cypress locators. Outside .js. Good. Now, the first thing you want to do is to write your test suite block, that is describe. Then the function, then the curly brackets, and then press enter. So from here, you write your test suite, the each block, so we are starting with the first with the class. So class locator. Then the function. Right. So having written this, the next thing you want to do is to locate the web element. So we are going to access the site. So we'll be accessing this site. Okay, I think my network is not on here. Okay, so this is the site. Click on the register button in the register tab. So on this screen, I'll use the first name. Now, as you can see, here is the first name here. Here's the some radio buttons under the your personal details. So from this personal details section, I am just going to inspect the female radio button. So the female radio button, see that this is wrapped, this input is wrapped under this span. All right, so it's under the span tag name. So I'm just going to show you that now. I just collapsed it and I will expand again, so you can see that it's actually under this span. Now the class is female, so making use of a CSS locator using span, in the DOM right here, press Ctrl F so that this box can come up. So having come up, to make use of a class, then it means that class female will be the class for this element will be female. That will be dot female, because every class attribute starts with dot. If you have worked with CSS before, you represent class with dot. Now, so I'll press dot female. So having pressed dot female, you can see right here, you see 1 of 1. So it means that one element is the class is only matching to one element. So now you can make use of that. But if it is more than one, then we cannot make use of it. We may decide to make use of another CSS selector. So now, as you can see, it's matching 1 of 1, and we can make use of this. So just press enter. Once you put it dot female, press enter. So class equals to female, so it means dot female. All right. So that is how it is. Now let's go to our code to implement this. All right, so we are going to say so from here say sci dot get, okay, right, so sci dot get. Then the next thing that follows is the locator. So we have copied, we have identified, we want to identify the email radio button element using the class. So it will be dot email. All right, so dot female. Now dot, if you look at this web element, you will realize that what we are doing is we want to click on this email radio button. So we are clicking actually. So because we are clicking, it will be dot click. So you are going to put dot click, and here is it. Great. Now next thing is to visit the URL to see whether this is working. But before we do that, let's access the URL itself. So to access the URL, you need to say sci dot visit. Then you paste the URL. So copy this URL. You have to copy it and implement it in your code. So let's find out whether this is working. So the first thing you need to do is to come to and click on new terminal. Having clicked on new terminal, bring up cypress.open. Alright, Cypress open. nps cypress open. That's the command, nps cypress open, and press enter to bring up the Cypress machine. So click on the E2E testing, then select Chrome and click on Start End-to-End Testing Pro. This is up. Then you need to collapse these folders. Then you will see your test file, Cypress Locators. So I will click on Cypress Locators to see whether it will run. So let's run our test. Cypress is executing. Now look at the result. So do you know why this is happening? Okay, this is happening because our command to visit this site is not within the test code or test block. We are running it outside the test command itself. So what we need to do is to go back to our, now in our code, we are going to copy this visit URL and place it within the it block. Alright, so now once we placed it within the it block, we can run our test again. So whatever test you want to run in Cypress must always be within the it block, because that's where Cypress understands your command to test. Alright, so now we are going back to execute our test. Just click on this run all test again, this symbol, reload. We are doing that. So you can see Cypress has successfully passed. Our test has passed. Now if you look at it, you will see that we have one test run and one test passed. Now we access this URL and we click on this female. As you can see, we click on this female radio button. So that's what we just did, and we did that using the class locator. Now let's go ahead and use the ID locator. Okay, so I will inspect this female or this male radio button, this male element. So having inspected, you can see it's also within a span. All right, it's within a span. This is it right here, and it has an ID of gender male. So let's use an ID with gender male. Press Ctrl F when you are on the DOM. So in the DOM, having pressed Ctrl F, you can write ID starting with the @ symbol, then write gender equals to male. So gender male, right? This is the way it's written. If you click to search, you will see it is 1 of 1 and it's matching this element. Alright, so that means we can click on that male radio button, this male element, using the ID. Now I'll copy this. I'll go back to our code. So in our code editor, I am going to I'm just going to okay, so let's do it this way. I will write another it block, or yeah, let me just write another it block right here. Then in this it block, it will be for that's ID locator. Okay, so the ID locator, we have, so you have style.get. Get method is the way to get your web element or locators in Cypress. Now I will paste what I copied the other time, that is the ID element. I mean the ID for the female, for the male gender, the male element. So, and that's @ gender dot male. I mean gender dash male, not dot. It is dash male. So we are going to click on that element. So that's why we have dot click method. Now, having written this, we need to visit this URL to be able to access this too. So it means that we have to copy this URL and paste the next text inside this text as well. So like this, we can access and click on the gender male elements. So we are accessing the URL. So we just click on the male element. So we now have two tests. The first one was to click on the female element, right? And the second one was to click on the locator, the male element, and both are passing. So it means that we have successfully executed two tests, one class locator and one ID locator. So we are able to identify the female element using the class and the male element using the ID. Now let's go and implement for the attribute value locator. To do this, I will copy these two tests and paste them below. So I'll change the name of this test to okay, so I'll change the name of this test to attribute. So this has been changed to attribute locator, and this class and attribute locator. So having done this, let's go and inspect another web element. Now I'm going to inspect first name, right? So in the first name, the DOM you can see the class inputs, right? And you can see here that it has another input and an attribute of type, text, type attributes and text value, type attribute ID, and of course the value first name. So to identify this first name element using the attribute value, it starts with square bracket, right? Inside the square bracket you have the attribute ID equals to, then hyphen, right? Then you put your first name. Then you should be able to identify this. Now I used this ID equals to first name to identify this first name element, and as you can see, it is matching 1 of 1. So it means that we can identify this first name using attribute value. So I will copy this. I'll copy this and go into our code to do the implementation. So in our code, the attribute locator test, I will change this to the attribute value. So the reason why it is highlighting here is when you use a single quote, you're using quotation inside the locator, then it has to be double quote outside, and if you are using double quote inside, it has to be single quote outside the locator. So we cannot use single quotes in both instances. So that's why it is showing that underlining the first name. Now having done this, I just put this in double quote and you can see that it is all fine. Now the first name is not a button to click, but rather to an input feed to type in. So it will be dot type. So what are we typing? It's going to take a string. It could be a number, be a text, wherever. So however, because we are typing there, I will put whatever I want to type into a quote, a single quote, and type Cypress tutorial. Okay, so this is what I am typing into that box right now, into that input field. So because I don't want to run this last test, I will write it. After the it, I'll put dot skip. Alright, so let's try to see whether this will be working fine. Now we are going to our test. Okay, so having run our test, we can see that we have this and we have this. So as we can see, our test is passing, but because there is no wait, or I will delay it a bit so you can see the execution of the code. It's really fast. So 3 of 3 passed. So let me delay it a bit so you can see how Cypress executes this. So I added this 9 side.wait 4000 milliseconds. So let's try again. So the test is executing, as you can see. Okay. You can see that it typed Cypress tutorial inside this first name box. So I intentionally made some weight so you can see that it's actually working. Now we have done class locator, ID locator, attribute locator. Now let's do class and attribute locator. Still on the first name element, we can make use of this to get our class and attribute. Looking at it, you will discover that it has a class of inputs. Right? Notice that the other tags were wrapped within this div tag. Now you see label and you see input, where you can now access the ID of this element first name. Now if you look at this div, you see class inputs. Then let's use that class input. So you will see you start with dot class. So dot, the class is input, so it will be dot input. So it will be dot inputs. Then this is it, dot input. That's first name input here. But before you can proceed, you have to navigate to this input right here. We have copied this input. Now we are coming to access this first name, to locate this first name using this class and attribute value. So now we are going to address this by, we are going to locate this, navigate to this second input by using the greater than symbol. So you are going to put the greater than symbol and put input. Okay. Now, having done that, you can now access. You can see that it's matching 1 of 7. So it means there are 7 elements that have the same class. All right. Now, on this page, there are 7 elements that has the same class. Now, to distinguish it now, to make it 1 of 1, we now need to use the ID attribute. You can make use of any attribute, but I am making use of ID here. So, having done that, you can see that it's matching 1 of 1. 1 of 1. So, in order to locate this element using ID, class and ID, then it has to go this way. So, I will copy this and go to my code editor. In the code editor, I will remove the skip because I don't want to skip this test anymore. I want to test it actually. So having removed the skip, I'll change the locator to that of class and attribute locator that I copied. I've done this right now. So what we are doing is to type, not click. So I'll say type. Inside it, I will type class attribute locator. Okay, now let's run our test. Now we have finished executing our test. Now you can see that Cypress typed has passed. We have 4 tests passed. 4 of 4 are working properly. Class attribute locator, you can see that. So that is how to locate